Our first mystery takes us deep into the remote outback of Queensland, where travelers have long reported a strange and unexplainable phenomenon, the Min Min lights. Picture this. You are driving alone at night through the vast emptiness of the Australian desert. The road stretches endlessly before you, when suddenly, a glowing light appears on the horizon. It hovers, it flickers, and then it begins to follow you. No matter how fast you drive, it keeps pace. This is the chilling experience of those who have encountered the infamous Min Min lights. Stories of these ghostly orbs go back centuries. Aboriginal legends describe them as the spirits of the dead, wandering the outback and watching travelers from afar. The earliest European settlers recorded similar tales, warning others of lights that seem to lure people into the desert, never to be seen again. But here's where the mystery deepens. These lights aren't just part of folklore. Modern drivers, truckers, and campers still report sightings today. Some describe them as bluish-white balls, others as glowing red or yellow. The lights often appear at a distance, then suddenly move closer, almost as if they're alive. Scientists have tried to explain the phenomenon. Some suggest they might be the result of gases rising from the Earth, refracted lights caused by heat waves, or even bioluminescent insects. But none of these theories fully explain the way the lights seem to chase or interact with people. Imagine the fear of being alone in the pitch-black outback, miles from civilization, with a glowing orb silently following you across the desert. Were these lights a natural phenomenon, or something far more mysterious? The Min Min lights remain one of Australia's most baffling unexplained mysteries, straddling the line between science and the supernatural. But this is only the beginning. Our next story takes us into the heart of the desert, where one man claimed to have discovered a fortune in gold, before vanishing forever from glowing lights in the night sky. We now move deeper into the burning heart of Australia's desert, where a legend of unimaginable wealth has haunted explorers for over a century. The tale of Lasseter's Reef. In the early 20th century, a man named Harold Lasseter made a bold claim. He said he had discovered a massive reef of gold hidden somewhere in central Australia. According to Lasseter, the gold was so pure, and the reef so vast that it could make Australia one of the richest nations in the world. Lasseter's story caught the imagination of investors and adventurers. In 1930, an expedition was funded to retrace his steps, but the harsh desert proved unforgiving. The team struggled against blistering heat, lack of water, and treacherous conditions. Soon, Lasseter found himself stranded and alone. He wrote in his diary about wandering through the desert in search of his lost reef. His last entries describe desperation and hunger. Eventually, he perished in the wilderness, his body later discovered by a search party. But the gold reef he claimed to have found? Nowhere to be seen. Since then, countless treasure hunters have scoured the deserts of the Northern Territory and Western Australia, hoping to uncover the legendary Lasseter's Reef. Some believe he exaggerated or fabricated the story. Others think he really did discover something extraordinary, but that the desert has swallowed it forever. The mystery of Lasseter's Reef endures because of one simple question. Did he truly find a fortune in gold, or was it just a dream, born from greed and desperation? To this day, no trace of the reef has ever been verified. A lost treasure, a man consumed by obsession, and a desert that keeps its secrets. But not all mysteries in Australia are about hidden gold. Some involve the skies above, and one young pilot who vanished without a trace after a chilling final radio call. From gold hidden deep beneath the desert sands, we turn now to the skies above. In 1978, a young pilot named Frederick Valentich set off on a routine flight. But what he encountered over the Bass Strait has become one of Australia's most chilling aviation mysteries. Frederick Valentich was just 20 years old, a trainee pilot with dreams of a career in aviation. On the evening of October 21, 1978, he took off from Moorabbin Airport near Melbourne in a small Cessna 182. His destination was King Island, a simple flight across the Bass Strait. But he would never arrive. About halfway through the journey, Valentich radioed Melbourne Air Traffic Control with a strange report. He said he was being followed by an unidentified aircraft, one that didn't look like anything he had seen before. The mysterious craft, he claimed, was playing some sort of game with him, hovering above and then vanishing before reappearing again. As the minutes passed, his voice grew increasingly tense. At one point, he described the craft as having a shiny metallic surface, with green lights glowing around it. Then, in his final transmission, Valentich reported, "It is not an aircraft." Moments later, his radio went silent. The search for Valentich and his plane was immediate and extensive. Aircraft scoured the Bass Strait, ships combed the waters, but no wreckage was ever found, and no trace of the young pilot was ever recovered. The disappearance sparked endless theories. Some believe Valentich became disoriented, crashed into the sea, and that the lights he saw were nothing more than an optical illusion. Others suggest it may have been a staged disappearance. But the most haunting theory is the one that Valentich himself seemed to believe in his final moments that he was taken by something not of this earth. A pilot vanishes into thin air, leaving behind only a chilling radio call. Was it an accident, a hoax, or an encounter with the unknown? The skies above Australia still hold their secrets, just as the waters and rivers below are said to hide a creature of legend and fear. From mysteries in the skies, we now journey down into the swamps, rivers, and billabongs of Australia, where ancient legends speak of a terrifying creature that lurks beneath the water, the bunyip. For thousands of years, Aboriginal Australians have told stories of the bunyip, a fearsome beast said to dwell in creeks, waterholes, and marshes. The descriptions vary, but one thing remains constant. The bunyip inspires fear. Some say it resembles a giant seal with smooth, dark fur. Others describe it as a dog-faced beast with long tusks, a booming roar, and glowing eyes that pierce the night. The word bunyip itself comes from the Wemba language, meaning devil or evil spirit. For indigenous communities, the bunyip was more than just a monster. It was a warning to respect the land and stay away from dangerous waters at night. When European settlers arrived in the 19th century, they too reported strange encounters. Newspapers published stories of mysterious roars echoing across the swamps, of livestock disappearing, and of enormous tracks found in the mud. Museums even displayed bones and skulls that some claimed belonged to the creature, though many of these turned out to be from seals or extinct animals. Modern researchers suggest the bunyip legend may have roots in Australia's prehistoric past. Perhaps ancient encounters with giant marsupials now long extinct inspired the tales. Others believe the stories were cautionary myths to keep children safe from drowning in rivers. But for those who have heard strange sounds in the dead of night near a billabong, the bunyip feels very real. Is the bunyip just folklore, or could it be a remnant of some forgotten creature hidden in Australia's waterways? The truth remains elusive. And speaking of hidden, our next mystery takes us to strange carvings in stone that some claim reveal a connection between Australia and the ancient Egyptians. From the shadowy waters of the bunyip, we move to a quiet forest in New South Wales. Here, carved into sandstone walls, lie strange markings that have baffled historians and sparked fierce debate. The Gosford Glyphs. Narration. In a remote bushland near Gosford, hundreds of carved symbols stretch across two sandstone walls. At first glance, they look strikingly similar to Egyptian hieroglyphs, the writing system of one of the world's most ancient civilizations. Some of the symbols even seem to depict pharaohs, animals, and boats. But how could Egyptian carvings end up in the Australian wilderness? Local legend claims that ancient Egyptian explorers may have reached Australia thousands of years ago, long before European colonization. Supporters of this theory argue that the glyphs are evidence of a lost chapter in history, proof that two distant cultures once made contact. However, mainstream archaeologists dismiss the carvings as a modern hoax. They point out that many of the symbols are inaccurate copies of known hieroglyphs, and that the site was first reported only in the 20th century. Some believe enthusiastic locals or pranksters may have carved them to attract attention, but the mystery remains unsolved. If they are a hoax, who carved them and why? And if they are genuine, then history as we know it would have to be rewritten. Fake or authentic, the Gosford Glyphs continue to attract explorers, conspiracy theorists, and skeptics alike. And while the carvings raise questions about our past, our final mystery takes us into the present. A haunting case of a man found dead on a beach with no identity, no answers, and a code that still puzzles investigators to this day. From ancient carvings hidden in stone, we end our journey with one of Australia's most haunting unsolved cases. A man with no name, no past, and a code that has defied explanation for decades. This is the mystery of the Somerton Man. On the morning of December 1st, 1948, a well-dressed man was discovered slumped against a seawall on Somerton Beach near Adelaide. He was dead. No wallet, no identification, and all of the tags had been neatly cut from his clothing. To this day, no one knows who he was or how he died. Investigators were baffled. The man's body showed no signs of struggle. An autopsy suggested poisoning, but no trace of toxins could be found. Then came the strangest discovery of all. In his pocket was a tiny scrap of paper torn from a rare book of Persian poetry. On it, just 2 words, Tamam Shud, meaning it is finished. A nationwide search began. Weeks later, police located the book that the scrap had been torn from, left mysteriously in a car near the scene. Inside were scribbled codes and a telephone number. The number led to a woman who denied knowing the man, though some investigators believed she was hiding something. Over the years, theories have piled up. Some suggest he was a Cold War spy eliminated in a covert operation. Others believe it was a tragic love story, a man abandoned by someone he cared for. DNA analysis in recent years has provided hints, linking him to distant relatives, but still no definitive identity has been confirmed. The Somerton man remains an enigma, a puzzle without a solution. Was he a spy, a lover, or simply a man erased by history? Until the final piece is uncovered, the mystery lives on.